Good morning, students. Today I am going to start chapter 11 in history, new empires and kingdoms. Students, our chapter name is New Empires and Kingdoms. In this chapter, we are going to study about some famous new empires and about their kingdoms. Firstly, I want to tell you, a student, the Gupta empires. The Gupta empires, this age was known as the Golden Age of India. Why? We will see in this chapter. Now, after the fall of the Mauryan Empire, many dynasties ruled over northern India. The Kushans proved to be the most powerful kingdom. With the decline of the Kushans, the Gupta Empire rose to the power in 4th century AD. The Satavahanas and Kushans were the two major political powers after the Mauryan Empire. These two empires declined in 3rd century CE. After the fall of these two empires, the Guptas laid the foundation of an empire in the 4th century CE. It was the second most powerful empire of ancient India after the Mauryan Empire. At its zenith, the Gupta Empire included most of northern India and eastern Pakistan, part of Gujarat, Rajasthan, and Bangladesh. The capital of the Guptas was Patliputra. The table on the adjacent page lists the regions of the five Gupta kings who followed Sri Gupta. The major empires of this dynasty. The first was Chandragupta I, and his period was 319 AD to 335 AD. Second was the Samudragupta. His period was 335 AD to 330 AD. Then the Samudragupta successor was Chandragupta II from 380 AD to 415 AD. After Chandragupta II, Kumargupta I was the successor, and he ruled from 415 AD to 445 AD. After the Kumargupta I, the Skandagupta was the successor. He ruled 445 AD to 480 AD. Now the sources. The sources which give us information about this period. Among the main sources of history of the Gupta period are the 18 Puranas, the literary work of Kalidas, and the accounts of Chinese travelers Fayan and Eystein. The Allahabad pillar inscription, also called the Allahabad Prasti, the coin issued by the Gupta kings, the remains of temples, and the Ajanta paintings also tell us about life in the Gupta Empire. The pillar which was found in the Allahabad fort, on this pillar or the Prayag Parasti is inscribed a 33-line poem in Sanskrit written by Harisena. This poem gives a vivid account of Samudragupta's conquest and military exploits. He expanded his empire in all directions. The Gupta dynasty ruled for over 200 years from 320 CE to 540 CE. Now, Chandragupta first. Chandragupta first began the expansion of the Gupta Empire. The Gupta dynasty came to the power when Sri Gupta 240 to 280 CE was the king. However, it came to prominence with the coronation of Chandragupta I. When he ascended the throne, his rule was confined to Magad. He took the diplomatic step of marrying a Lichavi princess Kumar Devi. The Lichavis then were a major power in Magad. In this marriage, Chandragupta I got Patliputra as dowry. Thereafter, with the help of the Lichavis, he conquered many kingdoms. After these victories, he assumed the title of Maharaja Dhiraj, which means Kings of Kings. The expanded empire of Chandragupta I included Magad, Allahabad, and Awadh. Students, during this period, the Gupta empires issued gold coins. During this period, the trade flourished into many parts of the world. Now, why this period is known as Golden Age? Firstly, we will see the life of the people during the Gupta empires. People led a happy, comfortable, and prosperous life. According to Fayan, the standard of living was quite high. Most people lived in villages and led a simple and honest life. Laws were simple and punishments were not very harsh. Agriculture was the main occupation of the people. Much of the revenue came from land. However, the artifacts and monuments of this period found at different sites suggest that they had mastered and perfected a number of crafts. It further led to stratification of society into a number of occupation based caste categories. The caste system had become extremely rigid. Beside the four main castes, many subcastes had also came into existence. The Chandelas or untouchables were looked upon by others and considered impure. They lived outside the town and village and performed menial jobs for the higher caste. Women led a restricted life. They were treated inferior to men. They were married off early, and numerous restrictions were imposed on them. They received no education. They were discouraged from participating in social and political activities. The administration during the Gupta period. Account of Fayan and Henshan tell us a lot about the administrative system of this period. Number one, the king was the head of the administration and had a council of ministers assisted him. Number second, the empire was divided into provinces or bhuktis, and princes were often appointed as the governors of the provinces. They were assisted by many officers. Number third, the provinces were further divided into district or vishayas. The Ayukta administrated a district with the help of the district council. And number four, the village was the lowest administrative unit. It was looked after by the elders of the village. Now, education. What was the education condition during this period? Now, trade and trade routes. During the Gupta period, in early phase of the Gupta rule, both internal and external trade prospered. Trade flourished on the western coast with the ports of Bharuch, Sopara, and Kalyan. serving as major centers. The Gupta had trade contacts with Western Asia, Africa, and Arabia. Tamralipti, a port on the east coast, handled trade with Subr, uh, Subranabhumi, which is in Burma or Myanmar, and Myanmar, Yavajabdeep in Java, and Cambodia or Cambodia. The things which exported from India were spices, pearls, ivory, etc. Perfumes, textiles, and precious stones were the major items of trade. This made the Gupta kingdom rich. It also helped to spread Indian culture to these places. From many parts of the country, the Guptas made trade relations. Now the literature. Some of the finest poetry and dramas in Sanskrit were composed during the Gupta period. Kalidas, the most famous poet and dramatist of this age, wrote Meghdut, Raghuvansham, Ritusambhara, Kumar Sambhava, and Abhijnan Sakuntalam. A number of other famous literary masterpieces were also composed during this period. For example, Mrichkatinkam was written by Shudraka. Vishakha Dutt authored Mudraksha. Ashtadhyayi was a pioneering work of Sanskrit grammar composed by Panini. Pandit Vishnu Sharma compiled the Panchatantra, a collection of fables. Now, astronomy and mathematics. Astronomy, Aryabhat and Varahmiyara were two well-known scientists and astronomers of this age. Aryabhat stated that the earth moves around the sun and at the same time it moves on its own axis. His theory was dismissed by his contemporaries as baseless and fallacious. However, we know now that is was absolutely correct. Aryabhat wrote Aryabhatyam, in which he gave solution to many mathematical problems. Varamihara wrote Brihad Samhita, which is an encyclopedia of science. Mathematics. The numeral system is an advanced stage. Indian mathematicians contributed remarkably to the field of mathematics and came up with the concept of zero. The decimal system and the numerals. There are evidences to suggest that the Arab learned the numeral system from people in the Indian subcontinent and then they passed it on to the Europeans. Though these numerals are known as Arabic numerals, they are actually not Arabic, they are actually Indian in origin. Now, medicine and entertainment. In the field of medicine, too, unrecorded progress was during this age. Ayurveda, a system of medicine based on herbs and plants, was very popular at that time and many diseases were cured with the help of this system. Doctors attended to patients in hospitals which were built during this period. Many texts on medicines were composed. Dhanvantari was the greatest physician of this time. Veterinary science also developed during this period. Doctors attended to patients in hospitals which were built during this period. Many texts on medicines were composed. Now, art and architecture. Architecture flourished under the patronage of the Gupta kings. The temple architecture with different style became very popular. Each temple had a large room where the idol on idols to be worshipped were placed. Over the centuries, temple became larger and larger. The temples constructed at Deoghar, Sanchi, and Bhitargaon are very famous. Stones and bricks were used for construction, and the temple's doorways were very decorative. The Gupta age is famous for its murals. It means wall painting. Murals means wall painting, which can be seen in the Ajanta caves near Aurangabad in Maharashtra. These murals depict the life of the Buddha. The seated Buddha statue at Sarnath is another fine specimen of Gupta sculpture. This statue shows the skills of the Indian craftsperson with metal.